All right, looks like we're live. How's it going, everybody? This is Chad Smith with The Real Solution and Infinite Agent. As I mentioned before I went on vacation, this is a meeting that we've been doing for over 10 years. And when we did the math the other day, we've actually met as a team and as a community over 2,500 times to run our business and to take our business to the next level. So today we're going to talk about a little bit, not in detail, but we're going to talk about what's happened with the commissions lawsuit in the real estate industry. We're not going to go into the details yet. As a community, we will obviously work to pivot and out implement the industry and just execute on how to adjust as far as all that goes. But we are going to talk about the mindset that is required whenever change like this comes. And so we're going to use a mindset tool that I call the story model. Actually, one of my coaches in the past taught me this. And we're going to go into what the story model looks like. And then I'm going to give you a couple of examples of how we've applied this in the past. And then we'll get on with it. So let's take a look here. The story model. It works like this. Let me scoot over just a little bit. All right. So life happens. Circumstances happen. There's no way you get out of dealing with unexpected circumstances or challenges coming your way. It's just the way it works. It's about how you respond and how you deal with it that determines everything. So life happens, a challenge comes, and we begin to react to the challenge based on the accumulated default thought process and the experience that we have from our past. And so when the challenge comes, we immediately begin to form a judgment based on our past experience. And from that judgment, we start to create a story. And the story is an amazing thing because the way the mind works is the mind works with whatever story you tell it. Whatever inner conversation that you sit there and meditate on, while you're awake, while you're asleep, your mind goes to look for the evidence to support the story that you've told yourself. And the mind will find the evidence it was looking for. So once the mind goes and finds the evidence, then we actually create our own future and our story becomes the self-fulfilling prophecy. So let me give you a couple of examples. I was a real estate agent back in 2008, 2009, and I had been an agent for a couple of years and nothing had really clicked yet. I had not found the right mentor. I had not found the right teacher. And so even though there were great books out there and there were great trainings, it takes having a great coach who's actually done it to bring all that to life, right? That's why people don't just go get college degrees and they just set all the books on their desk whenever they're 18 and say, come back in 4 years, right? If it was that easy, if you could just pull it all out of the book, you wouldn't even need to go to school. Make sense? Okay, so I found the right coach and right as the sky was falling in real estate. So sales volume in 2009 dropped 40% in 1 year. And here I was, I'd been in real estate for a couple of years. I have a coach who's showing me the way, and I didn't know the story model. I didn't know this mental framework. But the story I told myself in 2009 was I looked around and several of the top agents in my local market, I could tell that they were getting hurt. And I could also tell that they were not really willing to do the work that it was going to require because you could see that it hurt and it felt bad that they had been up here and now they were getting chopped down a couple levels, right? So the story I told myself in 2009 was, this is the opportunity to level the playing field. That was my story. This is my opportunity to go grab market share while everybody else has got their head down and they're looking at the news and they're all worried and they're just disappointed. This is my chance. And I'm going to go take it. And so in 2009, I made 2.5 times more than I made in 2008. And I became the #1 individual agent from my office and I've never stopped since. My office nominated me hardest working agent 3 years in a row, 2009, 10, and 11. And then after that point, I determined to never win that award again because I wanted to learn how to lead through people and build a team and go on from there. So that was the first story model that I can really think back on and see how much it changed my life. So that was that 2009 timeframe. The second example I'm going to give for you would be in 2020. So in 2020, the Chad Smith team at that point is a $80 to $90 million a year team of highly skilled, very, very excellent agents. And we had a lot of things working for us, and then here come the lockdowns. And at this point, I did know the story model. And so Jason and I talked about this yesterday. We actually met in a room the day or two before the lockdowns. And I had talked to a friend of mine. He's actually on the Zoom call right over here. And he had sent me the stock market returns from pandemics over, I think it was like the last 120 or 150 years. And basically the point of that slideshow was this too shall pass. And so I sat down with the team, with the Chad Smith team, and I said, all right, here's what happened to me back in 2009. This is the story I told myself, and this is what happened. And this too shall pass. And here's what we know, that regardless of what happens in the economy, sellers will always sell residential real estate, and buyers will always, there will be buyers that will always buy residential real estate. So someone's always selling residential real estate, regardless. Sometimes sellers are selling because they want to. Sometimes sellers are selling because they have to. And even when the sky is falling, sometimes there are still buyers. There are still certain buyers, and even when everyone else is fearful, they're actually going out and they're buying everything. So our job, every single day of this pandemic or whatever is going to happen, we're going to go find the motivated. We're going to go find sellers who want to sell and want us to represent them. And we're going to go find buyers who want to buy. So that's what we did. And we actually had some people, we were telling them right at the beginning of March, April, we're like, we're having our best months ever. And one of the guys, one of the local realtors here in the Metroplex said, that doesn't impress me. I'll be impressed whenever you do that in June or July. And so we said, okay. And so in June that year, we reached, there were only 12 of us on the team, and we had 88 pendings under contract. And we sold, I think it was 61 houses, and it was just right at $400,000 in commissions in 1 month. And then we did it again in July. And so in those 2 years, we became a $100 million team where we sold over $100 million worth of real estate each of those years. And our story was people need our help. And we're going to be blessed in everything we put our hands to, regardless of what's going on out there, because we're going to show up every single day and find clients to serve. And that's exactly what happened. So my question to everyone that's watching this today, every real estate agent that's out there is, what's your story going to be now that this commission lawsuit and all the news has really come out? By the way, this has been going on for several years. It's just finally kind of hitting a lot of people's radar. So what is your story going to be? You're already beginning to react to the news. If you're watching mainstream headlines, you may be convinced that 1 million realtors are going to leave the industry. And then you could begin to form a judgment, and then you could create a story that says, well, I need to go get a job. Well, if that's your story, then it's going to become a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you're going to get exactly what you said. For us, what we know is that the details aren't hashed out yet, and the settlement has not even been approved. So there's more to come in terms of what it's all going to really look like. But here's what I do know. The best agents meet with their buyers before they ever show a house, and they demonstrate and articulate their value through a buyer's consultation. and then they have their buyers sign a buyer representation agreement. And guess what? They've always done that because that's why they're the best. And that's what we're going to continue to do. And what, wherever you're watching this, or if you watch it back later, type into the chat, what does it mean for you to articulate your value? How do you articulate what you do and what your value is on behalf of your clients when you represent them on the buy side? What are some of the ways that you demonstrate your value? And so I'd be really curious to see what everybody puts on that. A couple of ideas, stats. You know, if you've sold hundreds or thousands of homes in your career, that matters. If you've tracked the percentage of the sales price that you negotiate, and that's lower than what the average list price is in your market, that would matter. If you could demonstrate that you negotiate a lower price on behalf of your buyers, there's value there. There are all kinds of ways that we could demonstrate our value. If you know about every incentive that every builder in your market offers, and you have relationships with builders and they call you when they have inventory that pops back up, or they let you know when new phases are being unlocked, that's value. So how are you going to articulate your value going forward? And the agents that decide to tell themselves the story that this, again, maybe you're newer and you say, hey, this levels the playing field because some people aren't going to want to do this. Or maybe you say, I'm going to take up all the market share from all the agents that quit, and this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to me in my career. And then you pay the price to go through that, then you're going to come out of this better than ever before. One thing I do know that from all of this, they're not trying to make it illegal for a realtor to be compensated. That's not what this is about. It's about transparency, and it's going to change some of the way that things are explained, but it's not going to fundamentally change the way the best agents serve their clients. So those are a couple of my thoughts there. And something else that I've been thinking about a lot, I'm going to go ahead and share. I'm going to be sharing this a lot, but I'd be curious if you guys agree with me on this. I've been asking myself the question, what are the 3 major pain points that agents experience in our industry? What are the 3 major key pain points that agents face in this industry? Here's my best idea right now, and I would love everybody's feedback because these are not set in stone. I want to identify what they actually are, and then whatever they are, solve them, okay? But this is my best assessment so far. Number 1, I think agents, by and large, are struggling with what does modern lead generation look like, right? Everybody knows that they should really work their sphere, okay? Everybody kind of has this idea that social media should be part of it. So what does modern agent lead generation look like? Number 2, post-COVID, the office environment culture, to me, appears to be completely broken, right? The big offices never made a comeback. And so agents are scattered. They're in small brokerages. They're isolated. You know, they can watch some videos on YouTube, but they're missing a tribe. They're missing a culture to be part of. And number 3, maybe the most important, they don't have an environment where they implement. Implementation. We live in a society where we're all like overdosing on information. Every single one of us could turn the Zoom off or turn this video off, and you could literally watch videos on real estate and then whatever your favorite hobbies are, and sports and this and politics and this and this and this, and then go home and watch Netflix, and you could just information overload all day. But what's missing is implementation. How do you take the things that you're learning and then implement them? And so we are building something here where I'm live on several platforms right now just talking to you this morning. But over here on Zoom, we have our community. And so what we've got here is a community where we have built and are modeling what the Chad Smith team does for modern lead generation, because it's working, right? In the next 30 days, a team of 10 agents is going to sell 30 homes. It's $9.7 million in volume, and it's $283,000 in commissions in the next 30 days. And a lot of agents, actually 500,000 agents, sold either 0 or 1 home last year. So we're working and sharing. Our team is the lab, and then we're sharing our modern lead generation strategies. Number 2, we have a culture. So this Zoom, when we break from this live stream, we're going to talk about what action steps we're taking today. We're going to sharpen each other and hold each other accountable. And then finally, we're beginning to implement implementation workshops where we either get together in person or in Zoom, and then we pick a topic from one of our either lead gen or team building or sphere of influence or operations, and we build and implement those things into our business together in a 1 or 2.5 hour block. That way the implementation gets done, solving the 3 pain points, which is modern lead gen, not having a community to be part of, and then the implementation. So if you're interested in that, you should be able to find a way to connect with me, realsolutioncall.com, or just message me on whatever platform you're watching on. But this happens 5 days a week, and it's been going on. We've done it over 2,500 times, and we just go forward and we don't go backwards. And we're surrounded by people. I'm looking at people on this screen right now that are having the best months they've ever had. And there's an agent on this call, Miguel Escobedo. He doubled his business in 2023. And he's on track to double again. And so Jen's having her best months over and over again. So we are taking territory. This is everything that happened with the industry that's been announced this week. It's going to be the best thing that's ever happened to us. We're going to take more market share. We're going to serve more clients. We're going to become even better at what we do. And if you'd like to be part of something like this, reach out to us. And we're going to be here every day. And let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know how you are going to articulate your value to your clients, and let me know if you'd like to be part of this. And with that, I'm going to shut down the live stream and then get together with everybody in the community. So we will see you guys on the next one.